Hey guys, my name's Finn. Um, I've just thought I thought I'd like to make a video journal or something like that. Just I don't know. I've been thinking about it for a bit, and I thought may as well just make one because I'm never going to do it if I don't start it. So, um, sorry for the low quality, I suppose, but I just wanted to talk about today uh how I got back into comics and how sort of this writer started my love again for reading in general, but mainly comics. I'm sure when I mention the name, you might have a similar experience, or you might quite like them as well. But I've just got the few examples over here, so that's why I keep looking over this way. So just like to talk off. So on my mum's birthday, we usually would take a trip to the city in and we'd stay overnight at a hotel, and it was pretty cool. And there was always I'd always go to King's Comics in Sydney. That's my favorite shop ever, you know. And I hadn't been for a bit, and so on that birthday I went there again, and I remember looking at the shelves, and I didn't see this book, but I saw the trade for volume 1 and 2. So I saw Saga, by obviously Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. So I saw this, and I remember reading an article about it. I might have been like the top 10 best image comics or something like that, like ages ago. And I remember, I think this might have been number one. And I remember going, oh, that's supposed to be, quite good. So I picked up volume 1 and 2, the trade paperbacks. And I read the first one like that night, and I was just blown away. It was so amazing. It was one of those moments where you're going, fuck, where's this been all my life? Like, this is incredible. Also, I've got to show you some pictures by the lovely Fiona Staples, because my goodness, I hope you can see them. But my goodness, her artwork is incredible. Yeah, so I read the first two trades, and I was hooked. And I remember as well, when I bought them, the woman at the register, she said to me, "Oh, it's lucky that you're buying these now because they're starting the series back up again." No, I had no clue that it stopped, or it wasn't finished yet. But I thought, oh, that's awesome, So yeah, so I bought that, and I just again just loved it. Read volume 2 not too long after, probably right after, on the train back or something home. And then that sort of sent me in a frenzy of like, I need to buy more of these things. I need to buy more comics, because I only really had a few, and they were usually just superhero comics. I didn't have much else. And so I was doing some more research, and, months later I came across, or I think I saw in one of my books actually, it had the Vertigo. And I went, I wonder what they publish. And I found out that it was, DC owned them and all that. And I was like, oh, I'll see what they have. And then I saw this one, which I'm sure you can guess by the Vertigo branding. So I saw this, Y the Last Man. It's again, these are all Brian K. Vaughan books, and also Pia Guerra. And I read the blurb, the description of it, and it's about what you're the last man on Earth. But is it that great to be the last man on Earth? And that just hooked me straight away. I was like, I need to read this. And you know started reading it, and I remember I read the first, like, I bought these like thicker, because I think they came out in 10 smaller trades, and I've got the 5 of these, like the more thicker sort of ones. This is the DC Black Label imprint for whatever reason. But yeah, I remember just reading the first issue and going like, he's done it again. Like, this is fucking amazing. Like, and just being like bewildered, and I just could not put it down. Like, I was reading it and going like, oh my, like, how does someone come up with this? Like, it's just one of those things. You watch a movie, you read a story, you just go, how? Like, I would never thought of that, but my goodness, thank God someone did. And I'll try and show you some more as well of the lovely Pia Guerra's work. I do hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Yeah, just this, like, amazing, like, it's in a matte finish, this one. but it's just like fantastic, it's phenomenal. I love Yorick, Ampersand, Agent 355 or 335. Oh jeez, I have please forgive me, I haven't read it in a little bit. Doctor Love, like, oh man, it's so good. And the fact that it was set in Australia as well, I don't know why. Probably just being Australian, it was like, oh, that's representation, yippee. But no, I really did quite like amazing story. And this was probably the first series, or at least definitely the longest series that I finished. Like, I actually read the full thing, and would have been the longest series I ever read at that time. And I remember just thinking, like, at the ending, just going, wow. Like, like you were speechless. Like, I didn't know what to think, but it was just amazing. And of course, I wouldn't get my love of comics without my dad, who is a massive reader, and he's also, quite a fan of comics as well. And on his bookshelf, I would see these. I think he only had the 4 or 5 for ages. But I saw, he had this book in the trades. He had Paper Girls, and I recognized the name Brian K. Vaughan again. And I thought, I'm not going to look at them. I'm just going to see if I can find a book. And I went to a bookshop near me, and I found this big, like, I don't know if it's a compendium or not. Pardon me. It's the same size as just a normal trade. So I'm assuming it's a compendium, but I just saw the cover as well. Like, I hadn't even seen the covers of the trade. I saw the cover of this, and I read the back, and I thought, oh, again, sounds great, and I love the 80s as well. So I started reading this one as well, and also, of course, and the beautiful art by Cliff Chang, and I'm reading it again and again, and I'm just going like, my goodness, it's a beautiful looking story. It's a great setting, and the ending, you're going to hear this a lot, or you've probably already heard it a lot, but the ending to the first issue, which I don't want to spoil, but how, they see the object at the end on the ground, and they pick it up, and it's got this symbol on it, and you just go, what, like, why is that there? And you just want to keep fucking reading this. Like, Brian K. Vaughan, for me, like, you just want to keep reading. You can't put his books down. I just want to keep reading his stories. So I finished this one again as well, probably a couple of years ago, and again, just thought it was so phenomenal. I know there's a TV show. I haven't seen it. I've watched the trailer. I'm just a bit scared to watch it. I'm not too sure why. I don't know. I'm a bit odd with these sort of things, but I'll get to it one day, I hope. But I love this story, I've heard people say that it was like Stranger Things before Stranger Things, and in a sense it is. I'd probably say that to like a mate of mine or something like that if I wanted to get them into this. Because, like, man, more like, I'd love everyone to read it because I could talk about it with everyone. But it's way more than just Stranger Things before Stranger Things. This awesome, like, sci-fi adventure. Yeah. I'd love to talk about it. But I want to make these videos a bit short. I know we're already running a bit long, but I've just got one more story to talk about. So, after reading all of those, and, at that stage, probably after reading Paper Girls, I would have read all of Saga up to the current issue, which I can just grab. Or not the current issue, I should say the current trade, which is now volume 12. Which again, can't wait for this thing to finish. It's probably going to be a while, but my goodness, it's a phenomenal journey. But I remember hearing that, or getting on the newsletter from King's Comics, which I mentioned before, that Brian K. Vaughan was releasing a new story, and it might have been in the pages of some of the other things I read of him. Might have been, Saga or something like that. That he was releasing a new story, and I probably saw it on Instagram as well. Sorry, forgive me, but yeah, here. So in the back of this Saga issue, I saw Spectators. I thought, oh, beautiful! Like another story to sink my teeth into. And eventually, I waited for ages. It finally came out, and I didn't get my hands on it. I got the pre-order, and it's a lot smaller than what I thought. It's like the size of or what I would assume is a tankobon, like a manga or a manga. I'm not too sure how to pronounce it. I was a butcher, but I also got, I don't know how often or how many of these there are, but I did get this signed art print in my book, which was pretty lovely. I'm not familiar with Nico. I think it's Nico or Nico Henriksen. I'm not too sure to pronounce it. I probably should have done a bit of research beforehand. But I was not expecting anything from this one. I'm sure, as you can see, as I'm pulling off the dust jacket and in the art print, there's these people with colour, but the world is in black and white, and so, I wonder what that's about. And even, all the images, the people are the only ones that are drawn in colour, and the rest is sort of this just grey and white and black thing. But I remember picking up this, getting really excited to read it, flipped through to the first page, and saw the art and went, I quite like that. Like, I love all the artists he's worked with, Brian K. Vaughan. They've all got something different, something really phenomenal to add, and they always just work with the stories. It's amazing. So yeah, and this was a very quick read for me. I probably read this in a day or two, which I would not normally do, but I just loved this and I just wanted to keep reading. Like I think I read half of it one day and then finished it off the next. But yeah, just this amazing, like, I don't even know what you'd call it. Like, it's a ghost story, I suppose, about like romance or something, and potentially the world ending, But I just thought, like, it's stuff like this double page spread. This art is just so phenomenal, and man, like, I don't know. I just had a really good time reading this, and it just reminded me again why Brian K. Vaughan is probably my favorite author of all time, and why I love reading. Like, it's a lot of people. Like, I love a lot of what? Sorry, how do I say it? I love a lot of other people's works. Like, I've read. I'd love to talk about some more things I've read. But I just want to start with Brian K. Vaughan because I think he was really the keystone for me to start reading again. It's sort of saga opened my eyes again to the beautiful world of comics and all these amazing stories. Like, I'd love to talk about my love for Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. I've got quite a bit of their works. Love to talk about Frank Miller, who I know is a bit controversial, but I still quite like him. Mike Mignola. Who else? Love to talk about Daredevil. My love for Daredevil. He's my favourite Marvel character. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be all about comics, but I just thought this would be a video journal and a cool intro video, I guess, into something that I quite like, and maybe something you guys also share a liking for. But thanks for watching. Sorry I didn't expect it to be this long. If you made it this long, it's pretty cool. I don't know if I would. But thanks anyway. I hope you guys have a lovely day. Don't know if I'll see you again. I might. But thank you anyways.